The Story of Us is the debut album from Quinn XCII, who joins us here in San Francisco.
What's going on, man?
Welcome to back to our fine city.
I know. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
We were just talking off camera about you have been here before, you're getting comfortable, and how it's changed.
Yep. It's I was telling you, yeah. Every time I come back, I feel like there's just new stuff, and the city's expanding, you know, just year after year. So it's awesome.
It's a lot different than Grosse Pointe.
It is. Yes, it is.
What's the population in Grosse Pointe?
Grosse Pointe population. My friends, my parents will probably yell at me at this. I think it's around like 30 to 40,000.
So it's still a town.
It's a town, yeah. It's not a small town by any means. It's not San Francisco by any means though. But so it's right. You know, it's your average Midwest city.
It's definitely a suburb.
Yes.
Right.
Suburb
of outside
Detroit.
of Detroit,
Yep.
Michigan.
Yep.
So I'm curious, because it is a small town, and anytime a small town is featured in a movie,
yeah,
let alone the title
yeah.
of a movie like Grosse Pointe,
yeah.
for those that don't know.
Yeah.
What's it like growing up in a town like that?
It's really interesting because, just as you noted, it's just outside of Detroit, and so, you know, Detroit is just very, you know, still up and coming, you know, very urban, you know, city with you know, it's pretty dangerous at times, but there's still nice areas, but it's on the up and up. And then you cross over 5 minutes to Grosse Pointe, where I grew up, and it's this really established, you know, for most part, middle of the road to wealthy neighborhood, like
a middle class
yeah,
neighborhood.
Yeah. Growing up in Grosse Pointe, you definitely are a little bit in a bubble of people and the community itself, and it's great. But then you know, you can cross over to Detroit and just be exposed to something completely different. Where
did the path diverge from protected shell of small town, growing up listening to Motown and family life, and then trying to forge a path in music? Because I would tend to think that in a small community like that, all right, son, you're going to go to college,
right.
You're going to become a doctor.
Right. That's the really common, I think, narrative with Grosse Pointe, and I'm sure a lot of other cities is like, you have these really, you know, these families that have lineages of doctors and lawyers and all this stuff. And my family was a little different. My dad owns his own business. It's actually a funeral home, and I didn't come from a background of, you know, very wealthy, like, you know, like I said, doctors, lawyers, all that stuff. So my family didn't pressure me to go into a certain career. I definitely know friends of mine and even fellow musicians that had to face that kind of and tell their parents, like, listen, guys, you know, I love and respect you guys, but I have my own dream to follow. And so that path started midway through high school. I kind of forged my love for just writing in general and my love for music together, and one day just wrote a little song, and, you know, it was terrible, but I loved doing it. Like, it just felt really natural, and it felt like it was like my calling, honestly. And so from that moment on, I just pursued it on the side, and it was really a hobby for a while, and then it finally turned into a career once I graduated college and really made the push for it.
I'm just curious, because you just touched on it real quickly, and what's it like growing up with your dad running a funeral home?
So interesting.
Not scary. Never, I guess you grew up like that, so it's not.
Yeah,
really.
You know what's funny is it wasn't anything weird to me at the time because I was so young, and when I was exposed to it, I mean, thinking about it now, it really is kind of crazy. But like, it's one of those things where you go into work every day and you're always hearing these terrible things about, you know, whether it's an elderly person that passed away or a young kid that passed away from an overdose. Like, you know, you're around families that are mourning all the time, and it takes a really strong person to do that. So I definitely commend my dad for always sticking to that career. And again, but he like never pressured myself, or I have a twin brother, never pressured him to get into the family business, or my sister. You know, always was just like, do your thing, find your own, you know, passion, and yeah, so in that sense my family's always been so supportive.
That's awesome. This album has a lot of tracks that people can relate to. It's also semi-autobiographical in a way, I feel like, because we were talking about Straight Jacket and the crazy girl from the Midwest, and I love how in Fake Denim there's, you know, shout outs to Matt Damon and you know, various people, right, and those kind of things. So in a way, you know, you are talking about yourself and you're going through this journey. I want to bring it back. You're not the hometown hero yet, but how do people feel about your success so far?
I think they really, I think they're
Did
really.
they expect it? Were you that kid in high school where?
No, so that's kind of an interesting way to tee up this answer. I was never the kind of outspoken guy in high school. I was never, nor did I even, you know, that being said, I didn't talk about my love for music, as in like doing it and writing my own stuff. So I was very quiet and reserved about that. Yeah, in class I was very shy. You know, I was social outside of class, but like was never a big talker. You know, I still had a good amount of friends, but you know, never was vocal about like my aspirations and stuff. And I think all of that vulnerability finally came out when I started writing my own stuff, and like a lot of these feelings that I had sort of suppressed came out naturally when I started writing my lyrics. And that's kind of where my name Quinn comes from. So it's the acronym quit unless your instincts are never neglected. So basically just saying if you have this instinct inside that you really can't shake and you want to go for it, you should go for it. And because that was me, that was to a T, that was me as a kid growing up. I was too afraid to tell my friends and family, you know, hey guys, this is what I want to do, because I didn't know how they would react, or I just maybe thought I wasn't good enough to succeed in an industry like this. But I do think people are really, for the most part, and again, I hope so, are inspired by the things that I've been able to accomplish so far, and really look at it as like as a cool thing, you know, and just, again, I was never someone who had connections with the industry. I was never like a industry plant, or I guess that term is so swirled around now. I was just a Midwest dude who had a hobby and it turned into a career, you know. And
who grew up around funeral homes.
Yeah. So clearly nothing to do with music, but I think people, I hope at least, again, you know, find that inspiring and you know, enjoy hearing that, because it's definitely, you know, kind of like an average Joe type story, you know, so it's cool.
Congratulations on all success so far.
Thank you.
We are looking forward to your set tonight, and you know, can't wait to hear what you do at Firefly, Lala, all the other festivals that you're.
Yeah, I'm gonna do Outside Lands here in the Bay, and yeah, a lot more festivals. Just in general, I mean, the festival season is really coming up soon, and can't wait to get out there and just like, you know, perform for thousands of kids, because like that's really my favorite part of doing what I do, is because everyone at festivals just wants to have a good time, and yeah, so I appreciate it, man. I'm pumped for tonight, though. It's gonna be great.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, you as well. Thanks so much.
And
take care.
Look forward to the set tonight.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
It is Quinn '92 debut album, The Story of Us, and you're watching B-Sides on Air.
You and the Bay. Thank you for making our dreams come true. Thank you guys so much.